What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Mike from Trouble Down Productions, and today we're going to be doing my review for The Walking Dead Season 7 Episode 3 entitled The Cell. I love the way they started the episode with the whole Who's the Boss theme playing on the TV, because that was just, it went so well with the episode. Even the music that played every time they woke Daryl up in that cell, it went with the episode. Now, granted, it got irritating as fuck after a while, but it did. The word, if you listen to the words, it goes with the episode. So I thought they did really well with planting that in there. Now, personally, I didn't like this episode as much as I have the last two episodes. Me and my admin, Michael Holiday, were talking this morning. He said it seemed a lot to him like it was like Slab Town from Season 5. And I agree with that. You know, it just kind of felt that way. It didn't pull me in the way that the other two episodes did. But that's also not to say that there weren't some interesting things that happened in the episode. So let's talk about that. Now, I felt like this episode was a Dwight episode. Now, someone argued that it was a Daryl episode, and it almost looked like Dwight was cosplaying as Daryl through the whole thing. Did anybody else get that? Either way, up to this point, we've seen Dwight be nothing more than like a killer. I mean, we've seen him at a low point when he took Daryl's shit in the woods, but we really still at that point, you know, didn't really know who he was in the show, you know, if you had never read the comics. In this episode, though, we got to see a little bit more of his I want to say compassionate side, but even though there really wasn't any compassion into it, you could definitely tell throughout the episode that he didn't truly want to do the things that he's doing, but it just feels like he has no other choice but to do so. Even with the guy, when Dwight left and went to find this guy to bring him back, you know, the guy was begging him not to go back, saying he don't have anything left, just to kill him, begging him to kill him. And, you know, Dwight, it almost seemed like Dwight was having a little bit of compassion there for a second, but then when the guy walked away, Dwight shot him. And I'm guessing that's just because so he can still score points with Negan, you know, whether he bring him back alive or as a walker to throw in the pit. Either way, it's going to help Negan out in the long run somewhat. So I guess he just did it to earn points with Negan. Negan did say when him and Daryl were in that room that Dwight came back. Now, in the comics, Negan talks a lot of bullshit, but there's always some truth to what he's saying. So, with him telling Daryl that, you know, Dwight seen the light and he came back, I'm not exactly sure that's the way it happened. They probably drug his ass back. Now, in the midst of us having all the Dwight stuff in the episode, a lot of the episode was pertaining to breaking Daryl down. Now that, you know, Negan had this whole plan that he was just going to break Daryl down and basically turn him into a henchman. And it almost seems like through the episode, Dwight felt a bit jealous of Daryl because of the way Negan seen Daryl, you know what I'm saying? So it looked almost like Dwight was just trying to, I guess, kiss ass to Negan. These motherfuckers got Daryl naked, got him eating dog food sandwiches, pretty much at his load, just trying to break him down. At one point, Daryl gets out and makes his way outside to where a bunch of the bikes are, and they corner him. And Negan pretty much gives him the option to either be thrown back in the cell or be one of his henchmen. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I would do what I had to survive an apocalypse. I would probably pick the henchman. I think Daryl is already a broken person and has been for a long time. So them trying to break him, it's going to be, they're going to have to do a lot. And I think by the end of this episode, he found, you know, when Dwight slammed that picture down and started playing that song and walked off, and Daryl started crying, you know, I think it was that moment where he is starting to feel like a lot of the rest of us feel like it was his fault that Glenn died. So I think it really hit him hard at the end of that episode, which is probably going to be his downward spiral. My fiance said last night when we was watching the episode that it almost looked as if it was going to be a comic Carol death with Daryl. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but those of you who read the comics know what we're talking about. Now, my favorite line out of the whole show was when Negan was talking to Dwight, and, you know, he was pretty much offering up one of his women for the night for Dwight. And, you know, was talking about his penis or whatever, which was kind of a humorous conversation. It's good to have a villain that's hardcore as Negan is, but still have some funny moments in there as well, which is a lot like how he was in the comics. So I think they're doing a really good adaptation to the show for Negan. But as I was saying, when they were talking, Negan, you know, was like, as long as she says yes, which is a big throwback to the comics, because in the comics, whoever reads those know that Negan does not rape women. Like, that's a big no-no for Negan. So I really loved how they threw that line in there. Other than that, that's about all I got for you guys. I'm gonna give this episode an 8.5 just because it didn't, like I said, it didn't suck me in like the last two episodes did. I really didn't find it an interesting episode overall, although there was some cool things that happened, you know, comic-y things that happened within the episode. Check out all my latest content on my YouTube channel or on my Facebook page for my YouTube channel, Trouble Down Productions. I love you guys. Dead to Zombies, Trouble Down Productions. You guys rock.